All right, folks, so forgive me before I even start this one, because today I'm bringing the heat as I was reminded once again how often the chips and the crackers are overlooked as a potential food that challenges our health accumulation. I think so much has to do with all the stickers, the pretty flowers they put on these bags. But, growing up from about fourth grade through my senior year of high school, I took a bag of Cool Ranch or nacho cheese Dorito chips in my school lunch, those little lunch bags, literally every single day. So I know how delicious chips are. I know the immediate satisfaction, that mouth-watering salty crunch. I'm with you, understand. Nevertheless, I have 7 reasons why chips, I would say potato chips, corn chips, wheat thins, gold crackers, snack chips, why they act as a barrier to health accumulation, to body composition change, and literally to overcoming food addiction as a whole. So if you haven't already subscribed, shared, or hit the like button, I would be so grateful. The thing is, each click, each comment, all that just helps bump up these shows and gets more eyeballs seeing them and more people who are seeking health to have that opportunity to find health accumulation. All right, so we got 7 here to go. So number 1, chips are high in defunct fats. It's often vogue to get chips that are baked because more and more people recognize the issue with fried foods, and how they age us. However, if a polyunsaturated fatty acid loaded oil like soybean oil, corn oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil is heated with a powdered grain, potato or corn starch, the end result is a food item ripe for promoting advanced glycation end products. These are what cause atherosclerosis. These are what cause aging in the brain. These are what move in on the body, on the heart, on our brain, and promote disease and dysfunction. And they really just stress out our whole system. So in the end, we get cognitive decline, we get heart disease, we get strokes, we get all that stuff that we don't want to have, all from these advanced glycation end products, which is the heating, or what happens with the heating of these oils. Even if it's not 1,000 degrees, it's 200 degrees. Still, if you heat those oils and then they just sit out, in an oxygen-rich environment, they're going to go rancid, they're going to oxidize, and you're going to be putting them in your body, and they're going to be forming advanced glycation end products. Number 2, excess sodium. So chips are often loaded with sodium, right? I had a person just the other day saying how they were craving chips, but because they're trying to change their lifestyle, instead of going and getting a bag of chips, because they didn't have any actually at the house, they'd have to go to the store, they added a bunch of sea salt to their food. And funny enough, they said, yeah, the craving just kind of went away. So sure, we like the salty crunch of chips, but the crunch is not what we really want. Because if I was to give you, a slab of romaine lettuce, that's pretty crunchy. Or, some celery, that's really crunchy. But I've yet to hear anyone come in clamoring for a stalk of celery or a bunch of romaine lettuce. It's also not the salt we're looking for, because celery actually has 9 times per serving the amount of sodium in it compared to your average Lay's potato chip. The thing is, it's the combination of the processed starch, the fat, the salt, that creates that insatiable appetite. This combo is also what promotes the high blood pressure experience. So interestingly, celery with all its sodium actually acts as a mild diuretic and promotes decreased blood pressure. Kind of wild, huh? So it's not the sodium in chips necessarily that's the problem, but there is an excess when you put all the sodium, the fat, the processed oils, you put all that together. All right, number 3 is acrylamide formation. During the heating process of potatoes, and really any grain, acrylamide forms, giving chips and crackers that brown coloring and really that excessively desirable flavor. Acrylamide is unfortunately classified as a human carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. I don't want to scare you because the dose definitely does make the poison here when we're talking about acrylamide, but anytime you can bypass a known carcinogen, I would suggest doing it. Thankfully, the human body is exceptional at detoxification, and if you eat colorful vegetables, along with chips, you'll likely zero out much of the acrylamide effect. You get those, guacamole kind of thing going on, man, it's gonna be probably okay. But still, the capacity to eat those in moderation, it's gonna be challenging. All right, so number 4, empty calories. This is maybe the biggest one of all. Chips are loaded with calories, they're super calorie dense, but they lack essential nutrients. And this contributes to the whole weight gain and obesity effect that's observed by people who eat a lot of chips, because the chips just never satisfy. They're specifically engineered to only partly satisfy. So you continue to consume them. And when we eat nutrient devoid food, our body is stripped of the necessary resources, creating cellular stress, the end result being more marbled fat on humans. We don't want marbled fat on humans. Think of it. The empty calories from chips are really like a low quality fuel that lacks, say, the essential additives for your specific vehicle, for my Toyota truck. Sure, you get the initial texture, you get the flavors, it hits your lips, oh my goodness, I love this, but it's missing the key components that contribute to long-term health and sustained functionality, which is why we call them empty calories. You have all this energy input coming in, but it's devoid of capacity to support life. Number 5, ultra processed ingredients is what chips are loaded with. They often contain artificial flavors, artificial colors, artificial preservatives, which have been associated with adverse effects all over the place. Many people have heard that potato chips aren't the best option, and so they've switched to corn chips. But consider even the fancy health labels, there's virtually 100% chance that if it's cornstarch, corn in a processed form, not corn grown in your backyard as corn on the cob, that it is genetically modified, that is loaded with all things non-human, and corn is literally like the top processed, inflammatory, promoting, and inciting product out there. And you marry this with your vegetable oils laced, in that Costco bag of tortilla chips, and it's no surprise many of us find ourselves underachieving and wanting in our health when potato chips are coming in on a daily, weekly basis. All right, number 6, high glycemic index, meaning that chips, when you consume them, when they hit your lips, when they go down the esophagus, and the sugars and starches are absorbed, your blood sugar rises super fast. And when this happens over and over, insulin resistance develops. And insulin resistance leads to fat accumulation and really challenges in relieving our body of fat. And not only that, but well-being plummets. If your body is going through this roller coaster all the time, and there's excess resources and energy being removed to compensate for these huge fluctuations in blood sugar, homeostasis is going to be challenging to find. And there's a study of 120,000 people that concluded that potato chips were the number 1 dietary offender, promoting the average 17-pound weight gain over a 20-year period. Now, they aren't the only offender, but this was more than soda pop, this was more than sweet desserts. Potato chips. So many chip brands promise organic, gluten-free, non-GMO, but hidden underneath all those pretty stickers is also the promise that you can't eat just one. Remember that. All right, and this leads me to number 7, finale. 7 is a perfect number. Overconsumption. Chips are easy to overeat. That's why you can't just eat one. Due to their perfectly manicured fat, salt, starch combination, this hyperpalatability leads to excessive caloric intake and the associated problems of overconsumption. That's one of the greatest demises of the Western world, is overconsumption of non-nutritious foods. And that's diabetes, heart disease, cancer, obesity, autoimmunity that come down the road because of that. So the next time you're at a Mexican restaurant, I suggest asking the waiter to hold the chips. Instead of taking the bag of chips and putting it in the middle of the table when you're going to eat dinner with the family, or taking the bag of chips and taking it to your recliner and sitting it there on the couch while you're watching the game. How about, as a matter of my new discipline, my new habit, taking the bag out of the cupboard, snagging a handful, putting it in a bowl, wrapping the bag back up, putting it back in the cupboard, and then going to the table, then going to the chair to watch the game. You know as well as I know, if the chips are sitting there, your hand is going to keep slipping into the bag. The next thing you know, the bag of chips is gone. How did it happen? The thing is, chips are notorious for being mindless in their uptake by humans. But after watching this video, you can take full charge of your chip consumption and recognize, okay, what's this doing to me? What's this offering me? You know, if you're going to eat chips, then at a minimum, I would steer clear from all corn varieties. I would aim for baked rather than fried, and I would choose chips with avocado or olive oil or coconut oil as the baking agent, the fats that's being added. And you know, while enjoying chips in moderation every couple weeks is reasonable, I would also recognize their regular consumption, especially in large quantities, it can definitely have a negative implication on your health and your health opportunity. And it could be standing in the way of you reaching those goals you're wanting to reach. So choose life-giving snack alternatives whenever possible, whenever you can get yourself to do it. Such as vegetables, fruit, sprouted breads, chop some carrots, celery, nuts, cucumbers. Get those real life-giving potential foods. Get those around yourself. And the thing is, in the end, like myself, I was eating Cool Ranch Dorito chips every single day for years on end, for probably about half a decade at least. And now I never eat them. And my palate, I don't need them. I know what they taste like. I know they taste delicious, but I'm not drawn to them and not thinking like, I just got to get them down like it was historical. So your palate can change. Bottom line, your palate can change. You can get where you are in control and chips are not controlling your life. All right, Dr. Matt here. Let me know in the comments how chips are treating you or how you've been treating your chips. And I'll talk to you guys and gals later.